So my intention is to do this in English or in Swinglish or whatever it might be. So our employees and our customers and also quite a few of our investors can understand this. So my name is Stefan Svedberg. I'm the CEO of BeammWave, and we deal with wireless communication, specifically 5G and 6G. We do something that's called beamforming. So why does that matter, and what is BeammWave all about? If you think about the wireless challenges, and these are quite generic. It doesn't really matter if we talk about 5G, 6G, Wi-Fi, SATCOM. It is the same challenge that everyone stands for. You need to push more capacity into the networks, and it should be much cheaper per bit. And the reason for that is, of course, that we all use so much wireless today. And we use a lot of video on wireless, and that really consumes capacity. So capacity is one thing. But also we want more speed. We want higher data rates. We want lower latencies, because then we can do a lot of innovations. We can do online steering of things. We can do, I shouldn't call it autonomous, but remote steering of cars, for example. We want better energy efficiencies. The networks of today consume enormous amounts of energy. So you want to get the energy consumption down, and you also want to get the energy consumption down in the mobile side, on the handsets, because we want our batteries to last the full day, even though we do a lot of data on them. We have new areas like IoT, so Internet of Things and devices that needs more data. With AI, they become very advanced. All of a sudden, it's not the SMS type of IoT we do anymore. We do advanced things in the sensors remotely on the edge of the network. And something that's quite discussed now, even if it's not discussed in Europe maybe, is AI and what that will do. So if you look at iPhone 16, they launched it with AI in the US, not in Europe, unfortunately. But there you can take video and you push it upwards to the network, and you get all sort of guidance of that video. And the network of today is not really dimensioned for the traffic going so much in that direction. Normally we consume things, we look at videos, we have the downlink as the priority. There's new applications coming up. Fixed wireless access, getting internet connections to the home by wireless. That, of course, consumes a lot of data. You consume 20 times more data in a fixed internet connection in the home than you do from a smartphone, so you need the capacity for that. And there's only one solution to all of these problems, and that is to go for higher frequency spectrum. And there you have a giant problem, because high frequencies is not really done for good coverage. The radio waves doesn't travel very far, so you need to help them. And there we come in. You need to do beamforming. And the industry today do something called analog beamforming. The problem is it doesn't work. So it's quite simple. You need something better. What we do is digital beamforming. You get a lot of benefits by turning to digital beamforming. The rest of the industry has thought that this is not possible to do. And they've seen two things stopping it. It's going to be too expensive, it's going to be too power hungry. We built the concept from the beginning trying to target these two things. And we have done research on this for 10 years. So we know that that can be built. And now what we have done is, of course, that we have protected that concept. We think that this is so valuable, and this will live for generations of new networks and new features. So we have protected it very, very well. So Being a small company, we are quite unique. We have 40 patents and counting around this, or 40 patent families surrounding it, because we think this concept's going to live forever, and all wireless traffic is going to move up in frequency, so it's going to be extremely valuable. Where are we? Where are we in the maturity? I think we are in a very new phase of the company. As I said, it goes 10 years back and more on research. We have been building for a couple of years on components. What we do is we do small chips for radio, for digital. We do algorithms. There's quite a few components in this concept, and we have put an enormous effort into building this. But you can't really sell components. We need the full system to be working. So we have been around the world talking about our concept, pushing that as we were building it. But now we are at a position where we actually do have something. So now what we have is we have a very advanced development platform. Something we can sell, a physical piece of equipment where we can show the full concept, where we can sell it to our customers, and the customers can start building everything. We can also prove the concept with this. That one consists of digital chips, radio chips, algorithms, antennas, building concepts. And all of these things are there right now, and we are sampling it to customers. We did a press release yesterday and said this. We are the first ones in the world to demonstrate distributed digital beamforming. And I think that is really true. We are the first one doing this, and we do it in a viable way. So that is something that has given us a thought leadership in the full industry. People listen to BeammWave because we have this on its way. As I said, we have an advanced development platform that enables us to prove our concept. It enables us to do demos. It enables us to take the customer discussions to the next level, and we can sell something, which is something that's extremely important for us now. And of course, we get a lot of feedback from the customers testing this. We did our first sale back end of last year, where we sold to an American company called Molex. Component manufacturer, very well established in all industry, including the wireless industry. They are specialists in antennas, and they are building an antenna concept on top of our components. Project runs really nice, and yeah, it's a big company, which is actually characteristic for all companies we talk to. They are 45,000, 50,000 people in Molex. This I will talk about a bit. We have a thought leadership in digital beamforming, and we leverage that. That means that what we can do, normally you have a lot of problems as a small company to get access to technology, either because it's too expensive or because they wouldn't let you talk to the big suppliers in the value chain here. But for example, just to mention a few things here, we have world-class partners. So we have access to tools that is world-class, that's normally not accessible to small companies. We have that because the ones supporting us believe that we have something unique, and they are using us as a reference case. We have access to unique materials, also from big companies, because we can build antennas with these materials. We can build it in a novel way, get much more performance out of it than they thought were possible. So they help us to produce these antennas free of charge, because it's an asset for them. They can use us as a reference case. We have access to world-class manufacturing, and we have direct access to the fab that we are using, which is also basically unheard of, because normally semiconductor fabs, they want to deal with companies with big volumes. They don't really like prototyping. Go do that somewhere else, and then you can come here. Or you go through a distributor. We have direct access to the fabless, or to the fab that we are using, and that gives us a lot of advantages. It helps us to build a world-class team, because our thought leadership extends over the globe. We get contacted of engineers from the big companies over the world. We had one guy coming in last year, working for Samsung, looking at what we did, said, if I move to Sweden, would you employ me? He was working with the millimeter wave solution there. And that is the thought leadership that makes that happen. We get people from Samsung, from Qualcomm, from the big guys moving into Sweden. We have a lot of talent in Sweden as well, so we are using that, of course. We are extremely well positioned in the standardization organization 3DPP. That matters a lot, because there you have the full industry trying to push this generation, the next generation of things. Our thought leadership makes us a power there. We get access to the full industry, we get access to the operators, and we can influence the next generation, which is 6G, which gives us a quite unique position. Operators listen to us, and so they should. Because right now, they have a situation where they have launched these high-frequency networks, the millimeter wave networks, and they don't get traffic into it because the solution is not working. So the way we access the market is to great deal to tell the operators what we can do to help them, and then they push us towards their suppliers of equipment, which makes us get new customers, a new funnel of customers to work with. We have, as I said, a very relevant and impressive patent portfolio. And on top of that gives sort of a good protection. It also gives us the possibility to sell patents or license patents, which is additional, and it gives us sort of control of our own destiny. It's going to be really, really hard to copy what we have, because we have for years now built patents around our full solution. So we are quite secure that we have a unique position and that we can protect that. And lastly, but not least important, we have long-standing relations. We have now, for the last 3 years, traveled the world, met customers. All the big guys have NDAs with them and have had discussion, but we haven't up to now had anything to sell to them. We have been showing them PowerPoints, but we have been able to keep those discussions for one reason only, and that is they believe we have something unique. Now it's time to harvest on that. We started with Molex, and there is definitely more to come. So we are ready to take the next steps. So the last 2 quarters has been extremely busy for us. We have had customer coming in and out of Lund. We have had the sales team basically on the road constantly here to try to show them the demos, to be able to tell them what sort of things they can do now and how we can take the next step together. So we are really, really looking forward to an extremely busy fall as well, and some successful deals coming up pretty soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefan. I go for questions in English as well then. I'll start off with your in the future customer base question. What is partners like Molex, is that in the future your client, or is it the operators or telecom equipment providers, or maybe OEMs that manufacture phones?
May I say all of them? I think our equipment's our chip's gonna end up in smartphones. They're gonna end up in at least sort of the smaller base stations, which there are gonna be a lot of when it comes to these frequency bands. And it's gonna end up in equipment that supports this fixed wireless access thing. How it ends up there, I think it can take different turns. We look at maybe at Molex and that sort of companies as a value-add reseller in a way. They take our components, they add their specialty. In the Molex case, they have really interesting antennas that they add, and they would sell that as a subsystem to a telecom manufacturer.
Yeah, okay.
So I think we can enter at different steps or different places in the value chain.
Yeah, and what do you need to be? I mean, I guess there are several steps until we can see your technology in a smartphone that you have in your hand. So what? I guess you need some sort of verification of your technology or validation, or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I think we're taking those steps now because we have silicon, we have the development platform, we are engaging with the customers. They are starting to build prototypes of it.
Okay.
So I think they can build things out of what we have today, but if you think smartphones, then that's an extreme volume product. So then you need to be very mature and you need to have it very well industrialized, of course.
Yeah. Do you think you will reach a point where you provide us with the design wins, for instance, to understand your how it develops?
Of course, we could call Molex a design win in a way, because they are building something that's going with a straight line to a product. I couldn't claim that I have a design win for a smartphone today because I need more maturity then.
Yeah, of course. You didn't mention that, but how is the ownership for BeammWave? What kind of owners do you have? I know that you are like a typical person in Aktiedagarna. You save in your own stock because you're very frequent inside buyer. But except for you.
So I think we have a cap table where the biggest owner is an investment company, listed investment in Conseil. Then you have a couple of founders. We have quite a spread ownership. It's growing very fast right now, which we're really happy for. So right now, the shareholder base is increasing quickly, which I think is just a sign of that we get visibility. So we have just a bit more than 1,000 owners.
Yeah, it's quite fragmented. You mentioned you had, I think, 40 patents or something like that. If we follow you, will you continue to grow your patent base, or are you satisfied?
I think we will. We will, because I think what we've found is a greenfield in a way. We don't get much opposition when we put in our patents. We have for two reasons. One, we have really good expertise on doing patents. We have people in the company, individuals that themselves have more than 2,000 patents. So we are really good at that. But also it shows that this is a new field where it's not so we will try to benefit from that and make more patents, definitely.
Yeah, so when it comes to competition, what kind of competition do you see?
So right now the competition is sort of the analog solutions. So that is the competition that is out there, and that is big companies. You can definitely say that. It's the traditional manufacturers that goes into smartphones, including Qualcomm, if we should take a big scary name there. So, so our benefit is that, well, we have something that works, and that helps when you're going to sell.
I think semiconductors, I mean, it's quite a hot area and a lot discussed from a political view. I think that we need to increase production base in Europe for strategic reasons and so on. Has that led to anything for you guys? Or?
So we do have our production. Actually, we're using the third largest fab in the world, and that factory happens to be in Germany. Yeah, okay. So on the European base, we do our manufacturing, which I think is good. We build on a design tradition that I think does exist in Europe. We are really bad at production, which is sort of the geopolitical problem and the Chips Act things that's going on right now. But we are good at design, so we build on that tradition.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Funding, I know that you made a share issue. For how long do you have money for your business at the moment?
So you need to take a quarterly report and count on that. But we are very optimistic on that front. We had a share issue that we did earlier this year. There's a second part of that coming up quite soon, and that's looking good. So I think from that perspective, we're not worried about the things. And I think we did a share issue because we needed it, but we also knew that we were close to getting these commercial proof points that we need, and so we are in a good position, I would say.
Stefan, you paint a quite bright picture here for your future, but I mean, as a CEO, what kind of risks and what are your possible obstacles for success, do you think?
So I think what we now with certainty can say is that we have the working concept. I think that has been a worry. Even if you've done all the simulation, you have done all the research, you want see the things working. We do the traffic over the air, we can measure on it, we can say it's a proven concept. Now we need to industrialize all of it. Some of it is industrialized already, but we need to industrialize the full concept. And that's a phase that takes a while as well. Yeah. So of course there's obstacle and there's all sort of things that can happen in the world to interrupt a small company. Yeah. But in general, I think we sleep quite well in every night.
Yeah, that's good. And your team for this scale-up period going forward, do you have the right organization for this, or do you think you need to strengthen it in any way?
You always need to strengthen your organization. But we have a world-class organization. I think we couldn't have had better engineers. We have salespeople with 40 years of experience. We have local salespeople in place. We are a team made up by a lot of experience combined with a lot of talent coming out of the university in Lund. Yeah. So I think we are well set. But if you ask me if I could grow it, yes, I could.
Yeah, you should. You should always say that. Thank you very much. Time flies, so we don't have any more time. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.